The simple question that a patient asks you is, why do you want to do two-stage? Why can't you do it in one stage? The simple answer is risk of reinfection. That is what most surgeons are worried about. That is what we're worried about. And therefore, it is simply the gold standard. Sorry. By the way, the first patient is going to have a flap, is being done. It's just the plastic surgeon. Can you just speak to? Finish the flap. So, yeah, the infection, as we know, can be quite obvious, as you can see here, or very deceptively subtle. The diagnostic criteria and the ways of diagnosing, I think I'll not go into because you already dealt with these things. Just to reinforce that, I think for getting the positive antibiotic culture, for the positive microbiological culture, what am I saying? I think I'm recovering from the heavy lunch I had after the surgery, so I think I'm not speaking straight. For the positive microbiological diagnosis, I think patients should be off antibiotics for at least 2 weeks. That has to be enforced. I mean, somebody comes to you, being on antibiotics, you just have to put your foot down and call them again after a week or two, and then get the sample and send it off for culture and sensitivity. The treatment options are obviously antibiotic suppression only for moribund and debilitated patients who cannot undergo surgery, open debridement, as we heard just now from Dr. Mahendra, or one-stage revision or two-stage revision. The success rates, has been quoted in various literatures. For single stage, has been from 70 to 85%. I think you already had a talk on single-stage revision earlier. I wasn't there. But two-stage revision success rate is quoted anywhere from 80 to 100% in various papers. I was trying to look at some recent papers on two-stage revision, and this Italian paper talks about 89.9% success rate, mean follow-up of 3.4 years. This paper from Stanmore, Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital from UK is a 2015 paper. This is a retrospective series of 51 cases and average follow-up of 43 months. Two-stage revision was done in 37 patients, and there was successful eradication of infection in about 65% of these patients. Now, many patients required this is a tertiary reference center, and obviously they receive very complex cases. The repeat two-stage revision was done in 19, and success was there only in 8%, so 42%. As you can see, the success rate is dropping here. The third stage revision was done in 5. So third two-stage revision, remember, it is third two-stage revision. So, you can imagine the number of surgeries a patient has had, and as Dr. Mender is pointing, probably needs an amputation. Success only in 3 out of those. And multi-drug resistance was seen in 69% of these patients. And that, I think, is biggest problem in these situations. Polymicrobial infection in 47%. Another paper from Parvez's group, and they are looking at their database from 1999 to 2013. 32,000 cases, joint replacements have been done in Rothman Institute. Of these, were 504 cases of prosthetic joint infection. They're talking about hips and knees, mean follow-up of 56 months. 81.4% success rate for two-stage revisions. Mean duration of resection to implantation was about 4.2 months. 11.9% patients needed interim spacer exchange. That means just single spacer was not enough. They had to probably put a spacer again. 87 out of these 504 did not undergo reimplantation. And that, I think, is what they were talking about. And 6 of these required amputation. 5 required girdle stone. They were obviously hips. 4 required arthrodesis. 72 patients actually had spacer retention. And that's what people have been talking about as 1.5 stage. Possibly retain that spacer for a very long time, especially it functions well and patient is happy and infection free. 36 patients died, and that is, I think, a reality. Many of these patients are elderly and may not survive for them to have the second stage at all. Strict contraindications for one-stage revision you probably would have heard already. And the same reasons are the causes of failure of two-stage revision. Immune suppressed state, medical comorbidities, polymicrobial infection, multi-drug resistant organisms, and obviously multiple previous surgeries. There are several papers on that. I'll just describe what we do as a two-stage revision in this is, no antibiotics are given until specimens obtained, I'm mentioning again. Removal of component, preserving bone stock, complete debridement, synovectomy, cement spacer or cement prosthesis with antibiotics. All the sample specimens are taken. We heard about antibiotic usage. So either you use a static spacer or articulating spacer, and Just going to show you some examples of these. A patient with discharging sinus, obviously infected knee. This is the first stage. You can see that the discharge is straight coming from the tibial side. This is a static spacer. I like to use 2 packs of cement. The first pack of cement, actually, I prepare the tibial, the base and intramedullary stem for the tibia, as well as I use the same cement for preparing an intramedullary rod for the femur as well. And the second pack of cement I put on top of this anteriorly as well as in the gap. And this is what it looks on the X-ray. This is a static spacer. Obviously, don't allow the patients any flexion. But the way I do it is that there is actually some mobility between the two spaces. And that is what actually is better, because whatever mobility happens between the two cement surfaces and not between cement and the bone. Because if there is a tendency to have 2 packets of cement and putting it whole as one block, and when the whole thing is as one block, would be bone attrition. So cement process is just one example of that. The advantage being that mobility is retained, and when you come around to do the second stage, it's probably a good bone stock, and it comes off without any extra bone at all. The implantation obviously has to be pretty late. Third option I use quite routinely these days is the Palacos mold, and this again very similar to what Deepak Dave mentioned just now. And that is just one example. As you can see the range of motion there, that is how an X-ray would look. Between 2 stages, obviously IV antibodies for 6 weeks, monitor CRP, ESR, wound status is looked at, cement block obviously needs plastic cylinder, and weight bearing is allowed during the interim period. Second stage, I'll just run through. You have obviously seen the revision surgery just now, so I will not go into the algorithm of revision totally. There's not enough time for that. Just to show you some pictures, and this is the static spacer removed and totally done, LCC case done here. That is the pre-op and post-op final outcome of the 2-stage revision. I'll just run through this. I don't want to run through because already running late on. Just show you some examples. So summarize, I think 2-stage revision does remain the gold standard today. Obviously, single-stage revision is an attractive option, but strict selection criteria need to be adhered, and protocols are very critical for the success. Thank you very much.